Apart from this, having Dr. Rajendra Prasad as its president, we also got two vice presidents. Firstly, we had H.C. Mukherjee, and secondly, we had V.T. Krishnamachari, who was acting as the vice president for the said Constituent Assembly. Hi everyone. So I am Mansi Dua. I am an advocate as well as a legal educator, and today we'll be discussing about the drafting of the constitution, the making of the constitution, the demand for the Constituent Assembly that actually drafted today's constitution. So when we talk about the constitution, we all know that constitution is considered to be suprema lex, that is the supreme law of the land, and all the laws pertaining to any subject matter will always be drafted keeping in mind the constitution. Since constitution being the suprema lex, it acts as a guide for many other laws, so that we are not violating the domestic laws of the nation. Keeping that in mind, so the first target for today's session will be the making of the constitution. So under this making of the constitution, we will be covering two aspects. That is the demand for a constituent assembly, and secondly, the making of the constitution, the draft of the constitution. So when we talk about the demand for a constituent assembly, we all know that it was the Constituent Assembly that drafted this Indian constitution. But how this Constituent Assembly came into picture, for that we'll be going through a roadmap wherein we will be starting with the idea that led to its creation, followed by on whose offer this was accepted, and lastly, the plan on which today's constitution is based. So firstly, we need to know that the idea of having a constituent assembly was put forwarded in the year 1934. So it was in the year 1934 that an idea of having a constituent assembly was put forwarded by M.N. Roy. And M.N. Roy was basically a pioneer of the communist movement in India. And then in the year 1935, it was the Indian National Congress that officially demanded that we do require a constituent assembly who will draft the constitution of the nation. However, no steps were still being seen. Later on in the year 1938, Jawaharlal Nehru, while representing the Indian National Congress, clearly stated that we do require a constituent assembly without any interference, without any outside interference, that is to be followed, right? So this particular offer in the year 1938 by Jawaharlal Nehru, wherein he declared that we do require a constitution for a free India without any outside interference, was accepted by the British government in the year 1940. So we can say this was a long duration from having an idea to its acceptance, right, in the year 1940. So this demand was finally accepted by the British government in the year 1940, and that offer which got accepted is referred to as the August offer. Further, in the year 1942, a Cripps mission was sent to India. The main purpose of this Cripps mission was to bring a draft of the constitution that would look like after the independence. However, the said proposal of Cripps mission was rejected, and this rejection was of Muslim League. So the Muslim League considered that they do require India to be bifurcated into two autonomous states. Therefore, this got rejected. Further, in the year 1946, another mission plan was sent to India, that is the Cabinet Mission Plan. It was the Cabinet Mission Plan that actually led to the creation of the Constituent Assembly. This cabinet mission plan was more or less accepted by the Muslim League as well, followed by the Indian National Congress as well. And therefore, the Constituent Assembly, it came into force in this November 1946. So the demand began from the year 1934 and it came into being in November 1946 where it was constituted. The story doesn't get over here, right? This was just the demand of having a constituent assembly. But what tasks did this constituent assembly perform? What functions they were allocated with? What other sorts of things they were looking around while having a constitution of their own needs to be further studied. So, the first meeting pertaining to the Constituent Assembly was held on December 9, 1946. So, we did understood that the Constituent Assembly, it was constituted in November 1946 and the first meeting of the said Constituent Assembly was on 9th of December 1946. On this very particular date, I would bring to your notice that the total strength of the Constituent Assembly that was constituted in November 1946 was 389. However, on this first meeting that took place on December 9, 1949, the Muslim League, it boycotted to attending such a meeting and therefore the meeting was attended only by 211 members. So on this very particular date, we had 211 members who were participating in the said meeting. Also, the Muslim League boycotted the meeting and insisted that we do require a different state of Pakistan. Further, on this particular date, that is December 9, 1946, we got the temporary president of the Constituent Assembly, that was Dr. Sachidanand Sinha. So, Dr. Sachidanand Sinha was considered to be the first interim president with respect to the Constituent Assembly. However, 2 days later, we got the final president of the Constituent Assembly, that is Dr. Rajendra Prasad. That is on December 11, 1946. So, from this we got to know that the meeting with respect to the Constituent Assembly for the very first time took place on December 9, 1946, wherein we got the temporary president and the temporary president was Dr. Sachidanand Sinha. However, 2 days later, we got the final president, that is Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who was elected on December 11, 1946. So the purpose of having this interim president and then having a final president was following the basis of French practice. So this derivation of having a temporary president as well as a final president was based upon the French. Further, apart from this, having Dr. Rajendra Prasad as its president, we also got two vice presidents. Firstly, we had H.C. Mukherjee and secondly, we had V.T. Krishnamachari, who was acting as the vice president for the said Constituent Assembly. So from this, we get to know four important pointers. Firstly, the interim president, who was basically the oldest member and was then present on the first meeting of Constituent Assembly. That is your Dr. Sachidanand Sinha. Followed by having the final president, that is Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Also, the appointment of two vice presidents, namely V.T. Krishnachari and H.C. Mukherjee. So from this, we got the name of four important persons pertaining to this Constituent Assembly. After this, we have one more concept of objective resolution, which is today's preamble. So after December 11, 1946, we have another date to remember, that is your 13 December 1946. Another historic moment in the Constituent Assembly. So on December 13, 1946, Dr. Jawaharlal Nehru basically moved the historic objective resolution. So this objective resolution, it basically laid down the philosophy of the constitutional structure. It contained how the spirit of constitution would look like, what will be the final outcome of this Constituent Assembly, how will the constitutional structure be there, etc. So this objective resolution was put forwarded by Jawaharlal Nehru. And this objective resolution, it was accepted, or you could say adopted, by the assembly on 22nd January 1947. So another date to be remembered. That is 13 December 1946, wherein the historic objective resolution was put forwarded by Jawaharlal Nehru, which actually laid down the philosophy of the constitutional structure, and the said was accepted by the Constituent Assembly on 22nd January 1947. Also in the said year, that is 1947, we adopted the national flag. So the national flag was adopted on 22nd July 1947. Till 28th August 1947, there was no drafting committee who was actually drafting the said constitution. So it was in the year 1947, specifically on 29th August 1947, wherein the drafting committee was appointed. The main task of the drafting committee was to ensure that the constitution is being drafted. The main task of this Constituent Assembly was also to ensure that all the provisions pertaining to the constitutional structure are being laid down. So, this particular drafting committee of 7 members was appointed on August 29, 1947. However, this drafting committee submitted its first draft on November 4, 1947. And this was the first draft that was being submitted. After that, a set of readings happened, and finally, the drafting of the Indian Constitution got completed on November 26, 1949. Again, a historic date in the history of Constitution. This particular date, that is November 26, 1949, is clearly mentioned in the preamble also, wherein it says that the said Constituent Assembly adopted and enacted the Constitution on 26th November 1949. So in case a question comes as to what was the adoption date, the enactment date, or the date on which the Constitution got completed or the drafting got completed, then that is 26th November 1949, and the derivation is from the preamble. Further, in the meantime, from November 4 to 26 November 1949, the ratification of India's membership to Commonwealth also took place in May 1949. Again, a task which was performed by the Constituent Assembly. Further, the last session pertaining to the draft of this constitution took place on January 24, 1950. So this was the last session, that is your 11th session, wherein the framers, they appended their signatures. So on this particular date, the Constitution of India, which was a handwritten one, got signed. And on the said date, that is 24th January 1950, we also adopted the national song as well as the national anthem, followed by electing Dr. Rajendra Prasad as the first president of Free India. So on this particular date, that is January 24, 1950, it was not only the signing of the constitution that took place, but also electing Dr. Rajendra Prasad as the first president of India, followed by adopting of the national song as well as the national anthem. And lastly, the date on which the constitution came into force is your 26 January 1950. The enshrinement of this particular date, that is January 26, 1950, is clearly recognized in Article 394. When we read Part 22 and specifically Article 394, we clearly get to see that the Constitution shall come into force on 26 January 1950. However, the said provision also states that there are certain articles that got its recognition or maybe that its enforcement on 26 November 1949. However, a major part of the Constitution got commenced on 26 January 1950. Further, this date, that is your 26 November 1949 and January 26, 1950, these are two important dates with which a person can generally be confused with. Like, in the question, sometimes they may ask you the enforcement date. So when they're asking you the enforcement date, it means they're talking about the commencement date. That is your 26 January 1950. Further, sometimes the paper do ask a question, the commencement. In case the question is asking the commencement and the enforcement date, then we have to refer to 26 January 1950. However, when there is a question being asked related to the adoption date, the enactment date, or the date on which the draft of the constitution got completed, then that is by virtue of preamble that is being asked, that is 26 November 1949. So the enshrinement of 26 November is from preamble, and the date of 26 January 1950 is a declaration from Article 394 of the Constitution. So we can see that the Constituent Assembly was not only been given the task of drafting the Constitution, in addition to the making of the Constitution and enacting the ordinary laws, the Constituent Assembly also performed various functions. Like we saw that the Constituent Assembly got the ratification of India's membership to Commonwealth. We also saw that the Constituent Assembly adopted the national flag. We also saw it was the Constituent Assembly that elected Dr. Rajendra Prasad as the first president of India. We also saw that the Constituent Assembly adopted the national song as well as the national anthem. So the main task of this Constituent Assembly was not only drafting, rather it also performed various other tasks which are here being shown. Apart from this, the total sessions that this Constituent Assembly took was 11, and the time that this Constituent Assembly took to draft this constitution, what we read today, is 2 years, 11 months and 18 days. Further, we did see that the Constituent Assembly had an interim president, a final president and 2 vice presidents. Also, we need to know the chief draftsman. That is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who is also referred to as modern Manu. He was the main architect towards the drafting of the Constituent Assembly. Also, the constitutional advisor, or we could say the legal advisor to the Constituent Assembly that played an important role, was Sir B.N. Rao. So these were the major people that were attached to the drafting of the Constitution. Also, when we talk about the framers, they did visit 60 countries and they did consider the draft of the Constitution for almost 114 days. They also spent an expenditure while drafting this Constitution of amounting to around 64 lakhs. So we did see the efforts of the constitutional makers through this well drafted Indian Constitution, wherein we saw that the framers, they not only demanded, but how they very well performed the Constitution, how they very well performed their tasks of ensuring that each and every aspect of the Constitution is being covered, be it your fundamental rights, be it your directive principles, be it your any other committee that was formed under this said Constitution. Further, when we talk about this drafting committee that was appointed on August 29, 1947, then this drafting committee, it actually consisted of 7 members. So we just need to know the number of members under this drafting committee. Then that was in total 7, and the main chairman of this drafting committee was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So with this, we come to an end with respect to the draft as well as the demand for having a Constituent Assembly that will draft the said Constitution. So in this lecture, we did see that how the demand was laid down in the year 1934, wherein only a proposal of an idea was being stated, and how did in 1935 the INC had put forwarded the same thing, followed by Jawaharlal Nehru in the year 1938, officially demanding that we do require Indian Constitution for free India, and the acceptance of the same by the British government. We also saw the coming up of Cripps mission, which was rejected by the Muslim League, considering that we do require 2 autonomous states. And lastly, the cabinet mission plan that came up in the year 1946, on whose formulation we have today's we had the Constituent Assembly. So it was in November 1946 wherein we constituted this Constituent Assembly, and the first meeting of this Constituent Assembly took place on 9th of December 1946, wherein we had the interim president, that is Dr. Sachidanand Sinha, and after 2 days, we got the first president, that is Dr. Rajendra Prasad, followed by 2 vice presidents, that is V.T. Krishnamachari and Dr. H.C. Mukherjee. Then on 13th December 1946, it was Jawaharlal Nehru who actually moved the objective resolution, which was basically a philosophical structure of how the Constitution would look like, and that objective resolution is the basis for today's preamble. right? So today's preamble is nothing but the objective resolution which was put forwarded by Jawaharlal Nehru. Laterly, this 13 December's objective resolution was accepted by the Constituent Assembly on 22nd January 1947. Further, we did see that in the same year, on 22nd July 1947, the national flag was adopted by the Constituent Assembly, and in the meantime only we did saw the appointment of the drafting committee, that is on August 29, 1949, who submitted its final draft on first draft on November 4 and final draft on 26 November 1949, which is basically the enactment date or the adoption date of the constitution, followed by the signing of the constitution that took place on January 24, 1950. On the said historic date, we did elect the first president of India, followed by the adoption of the national song and the national anthem. And lastly, on 26 January 1950, our Indian constitution came into force, or we could say this constitution started to commence. So this was the important pointers along with the session wherein we did talk about the making as well as the draft of the constitution. With this, we'll end up today's session. Thank you and have a great day.